You know what's really funny? I feel like this car's on jack stands more than I drive it. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back. We got another video for you. So today we're going to be finally installing the IE air-to-air intercooler system. As you can see, this massive unit.
Hey, that's what she said.
Any RS5 owner, any S5 owner, strongly suggest you get something like this, some upgraded intercooler system, because these cars run so hot from the factory. Putting this on today, hopefully I can get everything done myself, because to be honest, I'm not the best mechanic, but we got the directions. IE has a very, very detailed step-by-step process that they literally, look at this, they label everything out for you. They say what you need, take the front wheel off, all of it. So we're gonna start removing the front bumper, and then we're gonna get started on getting the old system and the tiny intercooler off. So let's get to it. So the first thing, as you guys see that I've already done, you remove the front shield and you use a flathead screwdriver to get this piece off, which is the hood latch release. You take that off. We have these 5, I believe there's 5 bolts up here. It's a T30, you remove these, 5. Now move on to the wheel well. You have your front wheel off. There's 9 T30s. Then 10 millimeter, couple bolts here. Take that. You want to remove this shield. Remove the shield. This is it's a weird step. So there is a pin right up here. It sits in this spot. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. If you look at the yellow threads here, it's right there. And we take off this T30 bolt, and this side of the bumper should be released. Now the really fun part. All the bolts underneath the undercarriage. It looks like there is 23 bolts. Oh, here we go. Man, I think half the weight on this car has got to be just the bolts alone, but I want to make sure I point this out because I started yanking and I'm like, why is this thing not budging? And then I realized that there's a bolt back here, is a T30 buried in the back, and this holds the bumper to the fender, and you want to get this off on both sides. T30, both sides, the bumper will come off. Well, I tried keeping this organized, but we're doing our best. So front bumper officially is off. There was a foam piece here and the crash bar, we removed that. So now, obviously I am gonna try to clean some of this up. The amount of leaves that came out of this were crazy. So the next 2 steps, there's a quick release here that it's for the washer fluid. You wanna plug that back in. Obviously it's leaking, but that's okay. And then the ambient temperature sensor, you want to unplug this. All right, so now we're going to be removing the headlights. I am a little nervous about this, but hey, we got to jump in, right? So there's 2 10 millimeter nuts on each side. One T30, there's another one here. Well, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. So the crash bar, I just want to make sure that I did it correctly before I tell you guys how I did it. So there's 4 bolts, 13 millimeters top and bottom. There's a nut and a bolt, so you got to hold it from the bottom. The pry bar, I actually didn't need one, but it sits in between here. But the other piece that I forgot to undo, there's a line for the washer fluid that does the headlights. You want to disconnect it on both sides. One right there, the other one on the other side. And now we have a opening ready for business. All right. that took some wrestling, but we finally have everything off for like the headlights. Now, what I did notice, the headlights, because I have the L34 intake, there's a bolt that goes right here. There's another one up here. So there's more bolts. So just look around the headlight when you have all the other panels removed, and make sure you remove all of them. If it feels like it's snug, don't just try yanking it out, because there's probably a bolt that's just holding it, because every bolt, once it's undone, every bolt is like, it almost falls out. So next step, we have to unplug the AC sensor. So we're removing the lower radiator hose. So we're removing this hose and removing this hose right here. And once we do that, we're gonna let the coolant drain out. We're gonna be undoing this button there and this button there. We're gonna be taking out the whole fan shroud. So it should just be able to remove that. So let's do that. All right, both hoses are undone. Like I said, you pop these 4 clips. I gotta vacuum this out. One fan shroud, another one here. Top clip, bottom clip is hidden in the back. So the next step, there's a T30 right here. You wanna remove that. And then you take a pair of pliers, and you go. So these, you're gonna be unclipping this. There you go, one side, other side, and you're gonna be pulling this off to the side. Be careful, leave that alone. That is your AC condenser. Do not mix it up. So what we're gonna be doing is taking both of these hoses off, and then letting them drain just like the previous hoses. Once those are done draining, once we let both of these hoses drain out, same thing, you pinch these on the top, and we're going to be removing the condenser. Radiator. Next, going to remove the connector for the horn. And then we're going to be removing the connector on the base of the water pump. Ugh. Next step, there's a T30 buried way back behind the pump. We're going to remove that. And once that's off, taking off this hose clamp right on the top of it. I did a couple extra steps. They weren't necessary. We removed this hose from the top. I took it off of the top of the water pump. You don't need to remove that. Remove the hose from here that goes to the water pump. So wrong. Water pump. Something else. So I've been working on, basically, obviously now that we're doing the air-to-air system, the intercooler, the air-to-water intercooler is obsolete. So we have to remove the hoses that are connected. The 2 black hoses are over there. This connect goes straight to the radiator. Exactly what I thought. So this is the cap that they give you to block off the connector for the water pump. So that's included with the kit. Now let's get the intercooler hoses off and we can actually start making headway on this. As you can see, we have the intercooler out. So there's a couple things I need to stress about this. So first of all, those wires do not look healthy at all. So the bottom bolts, I actually undid them. It's these tiny little T25s. Hold on, let me check that. Let me confirm that. no, I'm sorry, T30s. There's 2 bolts underneath here. The intercooler that was on the piping underneath on the bottom was a nightmare. Ended up, so the cooler tube, this thing was a nightmare. Also, they want you to remove the top portion, and it's in there. So good luck with that. I basically just used a very long flathead and very, very, very slowly got it off until I could spin it enough to get a better leverage. But she's out, the intercooler's out. Let's check, let's go with next step, assembling everything. So there's 4 provided screws that come with the kit. You want to line up, just use the photos. Either use a photo on the instructions online, or if you want to go off of my reference, because each piece is distinctive, or each side is specific. So there's 2 pieces, and this is how they go. Opposite side, this tab facing outwards, this tab facing outwards. Just to confirm, if you want to look at the directions that they have online, outer facing tab, outer facing tab. So just bear with me, but the condenser, you want it to be, the bracket goes behind. So this goes in here. Get that threaded. And then what we're gonna do next, after this, is very, very carefully get all this out of the way. Very carefully. I keep saying the same things. I keep saying all right or okay, whatever. But yes, another step has been done. So we have, we're gonna walk you back through this. So we have the 2 screws each side here and then behind here that we're holding down the, I believe this is the oil cooler. Then we have the AC condenser. We have 3 5mm bolts with washers. I just put Loctite on it because it's just extra security. Try to line this one up first and it's much easier. And then make sure you plug in the coolant sensor, I believe, or the AC, whatever that sensor is, make sure you plug that in again when you're done. We're moving on to the next step. I believe this is actually where we put on the intercooler itself, so this is gonna look cool. It was on the left side, right here. You wanna put this in loosely, so make sure you have the bolts through here, washer, bolts, and then you want to do a smaller washer and lock nut on opposite side. Keep this loose so you know everything will align correctly. So just get those started. You don't want to get too far on that. This goes on here, because obviously you can see this goes up and down like so. So you want to make sure that you got everything lined up before you actually plug it all back in. When you have that bracket, this is going to be a 10mm and a 5mm Allen key. You're also going to want to put this back on, get that started, make sure it's all the way. Yes, we're finally getting somewhere. So it looks like we're using the first tube of the evening. This is going to go over the charge cooler like this, and the bracket is going to be sitting right there. So let's get this loosely started. This is going to be like that. I'm gonna get this started. Bring in the intercooler, make sure this coupler is ready to be put on. The intercooler is going to be bolting up here and here. That is an intercooler that is currently on the car. About this, I'm very excited. Just want to make sure everything, you only want to do this once because you don't want to have to take everything back off. But so what we're going to be doing now, we're tightening down the hose clamps for this first intercooler pipe, and then we're going to tighten down the lower radiator, and then we're going to be taking the supplied hose that's going to be running from the condenser, and I believe that's going to be running up here. So that's gonna, because this line went directly into the water pump, and this is gonna be, I believe, where it's gonna connect it to, so you can block off that line. So it's gonna be totally disengaging all of the water cooling system. Okay, so we're getting close. So the provided hose, like I said, before you retighten this clamp down here, you want to tighten this clamp up. You put this radiator hose into with the provided hose clamps. I am pretty on. I got about over an inch of hose. I could probably get more on there, but there you go. Okay, plenty on there. And then you have the opposite side that goes up and meets the radiator support right here, or the radiator hose right here. So this is the line that's actually blocking off the entire system and allowing you to run just air to air. Now I don't know, it doesn't say anything about rebleeding the system. I assume that let the car run. Obviously fill the reservoir high as you can, let the car run. Do that. You're gonna obviously be plugging in a couple things. This is the center that they provide. This is the block off for the water pump. This is obviously headlight. I'll figure that out when I get there. Oh, I believe that goes for the map sensor, but I'll confirm that. And then this is obviously the horn right there. I'm gonna show you guys how to run the intercooler pipes. We'll button everything up, and then you just redo the disassembly process and you put everything back together. Okay, stop what you're doing. I need you to listen. If you have a B9.5 RS5, pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you, they do mention it on their website, but God forbid if we don't, we are men and we don't listen or follow directions, you are going to run into this hiccup. So please pay attention. I will explain what you need to do. So the 2018-2019 B9 RS5s are developed for this kit. The charge pipe inlet, or the charge pipe from the B9 is 2 pieces. I have a 1-piece charge pipe, single piece all the way down to the top of the intercooler. The bottom intercooler hose works perfectly. The charge pipe does not. Now, what I did, I had to cut the provided hose that they gave me. So I cut the provided hose, perfectly goes here, curves up. I bought this piece. I will put a link in the description. I bought this off of Amazon. It was, I think, $17. It is a 4-inch long, 2.5-inch wide intercooler connector. You use the rubber mount that comes with the car. It is snug. This is solid. Like, this is how you do it, or at least it's gonna be what I do to make this work for the integrated air-to-air intercooler kit. So this is the big piece for us, at least now, because they do not offer a fix right now. Their fix to complete this, or to run this kit on their B9.5, you need to purchase 2 parts from Audi, which I checked. They are back ordered and they are $480. And those pieces you need to run a factory setup. Or you can buy this piece off of Amazon for $17, modify a little bit, and you have an air-to-air system. So once you have, I did put the bar already back on, everything's attached, it's all tight. So the last final piece before you start reassembling everything, from what it looks like in the directions, you want to basically make it to create a C shape. So this part gets cut, this part gets cut here and here. So it's only from this line over and over. And that's the shield piece that you put back on here. As you can see, far too big. This goes way down here. I will do that. I gotta find my Dremel. once you have, okay, so we trim the piece that goes above. You want to confirm that it fits. Obviously it's not as stable because, well, we'll get it back together. But like I said, you make it a C shape. You cut out the center, cut out the middle, or cut out the sides. And there we have it, i.e. air-to-air intercooler. Now, basically just go through the steps on the website like I'm going to. Go through the steps and obviously, you know, backtrack. So follow the disassembly process and go backwards to put everything back together. Hopefully you didn't lose any bolts because I have a feeling I'm going to. But once we get it all back together, we'll see if she runs good. Everything feels tight to me. All the clamps are as tight as I can physically make them. And we'll get our first drive with the IE and we'll get some IAT temp comparisons and see how she does. So, okay, we are finally back out after all of that. We are out. I got the draggy, or I'm sorry, no, my draggy's dead. But so it is significantly colder. It's 73 right now, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because regardless how cold it is, the charged cooler temps are gonna get hotter than the outside temp, like by a lot. It could be 50 degrees out and you're still gonna get hot air eventually because it can't keep up. But we're gonna do the same comparison. We're gonna do the 60 miles per hour, like 60, 65, and I'm just gonna floor it. And it's already going back down. Yep, that thing works. Oh my God, I can't wait to compare this. The before and afters are insane. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look at 73 degrees. We let off. We're already back down to basically the outside air temp. Let's hit it again. Yeah, see, I would have been at like 130 degrees at that point if I had the stock charge cooler. Ah, I love when things work. And it's just already cooling down. That's amazing. Air to air, IE. You might not have a complete kit for my car, but you know what? We made it work. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helps someone because unfortunately, you know, it's a great kit. It's a great kit. You know, they're gonna come up with something eventually. The other option, like I said, is that you have to pay just under $500 from Audi for parts that currently right now are on back order, so you can't even get them. So this works. I just did a full boost pull up to 130 kilometers and everything's good. I gotta just refill my washer fluid because you have to undo that when you take off the bumper. But you guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy the IE intercooler if you get it. Just watch this video and hopefully this helps someone on their installs. But we'll get some more videos pumping out. We got a couple things coming up in the next month, so stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.